afternoon and welcome to your news on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shehan Ranatunga. Let's start things off with a look at your headlines.
Electricity users head to PUCSL against proposed tariff hike. Police prevent protest march. SLPP places bonds for Colombo local government institutions.
ඒ සඳහා මුණ දෙන්න නිසි සංවිධාන කටයුතු කරලා තියෙන එකම දේශපාලන පක්ෂය අපේ පක්ෂයයි.
ජනතාවගේ හදවත් තුල තාම තියෙන පොහොට්ටුව කියන එක ඉතා පැහැදිලිව කියනවා.
Shots fired into the air to disperse fishermen in Hambantota. Minor staff across state hospitals go on strike. Monaragala SSP arrested for the possession of cannabis plants. 200,000 eggs to be imported to Sri Lanka.
Now to start things off, the Electricity Users Association protested against the proposed electricity tariff hike in Colombo.
Protest march against the proposed electricity tariff hike got underway in Fort Colombo. Attempts made by the protesters to proceed to the Public Utilities Commission from Fort were prevented by Sri Lanka police.
පොලිස් නිලධාරීන්ටත් විදුලි බිල ගෙවන්න බෑ අපිට ගෙවන්නත් බෑ මොකද අපි රාජ්‍ය සේවකයෙක් විදියට මම විශ්‍රාමිකෙක් මගේ විශ්‍රාම වැටුපෙන් 75ක් විදුලි බිලට ගියාට පස්සේ කොහොමද ජීවත් වෙන්නේ මේ පොලිස් නිලධාරී මහන්තුරුන්ගේ වැටුප ලොකු වැටුපක් නැහැ හැබැයි ගෙවන්න බෑ එක මාසයක් ගෙවයි රත්තරන් බඩු උගස් තියලා ගෙවයි ඊට පස්සේ ගෙවන්නේ කොහමද ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හදවත අපිත් එක්කයි.
Thereafter, the group decided to board a bus and travel to the PUCSL. Venerable Dr. Omalpe Sobitathero, along with a group, gathered opposite the PUCSL as well. Their request was to stop any attempt to increase the electricity tariff.
සාධාරණය වෙනුවෙන් සටන් කරනවා ඔබතුමා ගැන ආඩම්බරයි ඒක දිගින් දිගටම කරගෙන යන්න ධෛර්යය සත්.
The Ministry of Power and Energy believes that the proposed electricity tariff revision will be approved by the Cabinet on Monday. The Minister earlier said that at the previous Cabinet meeting it was decided to grant 1 week to the Ministers to pursue the proposal on amending the electricity tariff and revert to Cabinet on Monday. The Ministry hopes that the Cabinet of Ministers will grant approval to the said proposal after considering the views and suggestions made by the Ministers. The Ceylon Electricity Board says it expects to provide a continuous supply of power without power cuts in the future if electricity tariff hike is approved as expected and proper inputs are received for coal and fuel power plants. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka says that its guidelines were directed to the Cabinet. The PUCSL chairman Janaka Ratnayaka said that the Commission has informed the Cabinet to focus on the data in its document before approving the proposed electricity tariff revision.
Now the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna placed bonds for the Colombo District for the upcoming local government elections. The bonds were placed by Attorney Sagara Karyavasam, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna.
Colombo District MPs of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna were among those present to place bonds.
මේ මැතිවරණය සඳහා වඩාම සංවිධානාත්මකව සූදානම් වෙලා ඒ සඳහා මුණ දෙන්න නිසි සංවිධාන කටයුතු කරලා තියෙන එකම දේශපාලන.
Our party is the only political party that is the most organized and prepared for this election. Neither the government nor the president can be changed in this election. This is neither a presidential election nor a parliamentary election. Through the result of this election, the wishes and aspirations of the people at the village level will be fulfilled by getting a representative closer to them. The Commissioner of Elections is the one who decides the dates.
මේ මැතිවරණය පැවැත්වෙන්නේ මැතිවරණයේ පැවැත්වීමේ දිනේ තීරණය කරන්නේ මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස්තුමා ඒ පැවැත්වෙන ඕනෑම දිනයක මැතිවරණය සඳහා අපි සූදානම්. උත්සාහයක් තියෙනවා නම් අපි මැතිවරණයට අද නාම යෝජනා පත්‍ර බාර දෙන්නේ නැහනේ ඊයේ. අප මුදල් බඳින්නේ නැහනේ.
ඊයේ දිනේ ඔබතුමාලා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ සාකච්ඡාවේ මොනවද කියන්නේ?
නෑ ඉදිරියේදී එකතුව වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් හැකි සෑම අයුරින්ම රට වෙනුවෙන් එකමුතුව වැඩ කරන්න තීරණ ගත්තා. ඒ වගේම පළාත්
We decided to work together for the country in every possible way in the future, and we also discussed how we can work together for this poll. It is necessary to say something special at this time because various allegations are being raised on social media. Different groups express different opinions regarding this election, but as a party, we have a great confidence that we will achieve a great victory in this election. We also must state that the Poultry is the party in the people's hearts.
ජයග්‍රහණයක් ගන්නවා කියලා ජනතාවගේ හදවත් තුල තාම තියෙන පොහොට්ටුව කියන එක ඉතා පැහැදිලිව කියන්නේ. එතුමා ඉතා සක්‍රියව
He will be actively contributing and supporting the party for this election.
අවශ්‍ය උපරිම ශක්තිය එතුමා ලබා දෙනවා. නෑ එතුමා මේ වෙනකොට දේශපාලනයේ නියැලෙන්නේ නෑ.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says that it has reached an agreement with the United National Party to work together in the future. The SLPP and UNP delegations met on Sunday to discuss the upcoming local government election. SLPP MP Sanjeev Edirimana, speaking to reporters, said that the discussion concluded on a positive note.
We discussed a number of key issues, including the local government elections. The political willpower of the government is necessary to provide relief for the people. We discussed matters on further strengthening that power to create a better socio-economic and political atmosphere for the people. Both sides agreed that we need to work together in the future. We will once again discuss how two political parties can work together in the future.
විදිහට එකට එකතුව කටයුතු කළ හැකි අවස්ථාවන් පිළිබඳව ඉදිරියේදී නැවත සාකච්ඡාවට ලක්වීමට නියමිතයි.
The UNP and the SLPP have agreed to discuss this with district leaders within this week for future programs.
පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ අපි මොකද්ද කිව්වේ? බැංකු හොරා කියලා වර්තමාන ජනාධිපතිතුමාට කිව්වා. මහ බැංකුව කැඩුවා කිව්වා මහ.
What did we from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna say to the current president? That he was a bank thief. The central bank was robbed in broad daylight. Where is his sense of self-respect? How can he be president when he was the one who helped the governor of the central bank escape? This is not a personal grudge. Where are we politically today? The people's mandate and the hope we gave to the people have been turned upside down today. As the group that takes the policies of the Podujana Peramuna forward, as the Freedom People's Congress, the elections should always be held at the right time because we have weakened democracy and weakened the country. The people of our country have reached a situation where they have been rendered helpless. Now we have been waiting for over 1 year, hoping for the IMF support and also the GSP relief. For all of this, it is extremely important that democracy is established in the country.
IMF ගන්න. ඒ වගේම GSP සහනය ගන්න. මේ සියල්ලටම රටේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී ස්ථාපිතව තිබී ඉතාම වැදගත්.
මෙවර පළාත් පාලන මැතිවරණයට අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ විදියට ලංකාවේ හැම ප්‍රාදේශීය සභාවකම ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා. එම මහනගර
The Samagi Jana Balavegaya will contest from every local government institution in the country. We know that the SLPP's mandate has collapsed. We want to provide the people with an opportunity to express their mandate. There are excess number of members in some of those institutions. Amidst this, the government is trying to postpone the election. They have gone to court. Why is the government trying to delay it? The government does not have a mandate. If they lose this election, the president and the government cannot function again. Therefore, the government is postponing it out of fear. Once they said the youth representation is essential. They also said the number of divisions needs to be reduced. We are ready for anything, but the election must be held on time.
තරුණ නියෝජනය ඕන තවසරයක් වෙන කොට්ටාස අඩු කරන්න ඕන. නමුත් අපි කියන ඕන විදිහකට අපි ලෑස්ති හැබැයි වෙලාවට මැතිවරණයේදී.
Political parties and groups have already started placing their bonds to contest the local government election. Bonds have already been placed for 23 local government bodies by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, 2 other political parties and 5 independent groups. As per the Election Commission, the accepting of bonds for the local government election will end at 12 noon on the 20th of January 2023. Nominations will only be accepted from the 18th of January to 12 noon on the 21st of January. 16,856,629 registered voters are eligible to exercise their franchise at the upcoming local government election.
The local government election can be considered as the primary election of the village. Therefore, voters must pay close attention to the ballot. Voters exercising their franchise considering the national and global atmosphere has led to a questionable situation. Therefore, the voters must be very mindful to the reasons of calling for such an election.
Now in other news, minor staff across all state hospitals launched a trade union action demanding economic relief in the face of the economic crisis in Sri Lanka.
The trade union action by minor staff at state hospitals crippled services. This was the situation at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital. Patients who visited the National Dental Hospital were also severely inconvenienced.
Now, poultry farm owners point out that the rise in the price of raw materials necessary for production has led to the collapse of small-scale local poultry farms.
Egg and chicken production is the main livelihood of over 600 families in Athuraliya Mathara. They point out that egg production has decreased due to poor quality of feed given to chicken and shortage of chicken feed.
It is very difficult to continue with this situation. If food prices come down and we are given some kind of relief, we can continue this. Currently, our children are severely inconvenienced. They skip meals. We do these things out of debt. We have no one to look at. Eggs have been imported to the country during the past 2 days. If this continues, they will even import meat. How can the local industry develop after that? A decision was reached to import 200,000 incubated chicken eggs in an attempt to address the shortage of chickens to produce eggs. The annual requirement of eggs in Sri Lanka is 2,990 million. The monthly requirement of eggs is 249 to 250 million, and by now it has dropped to 30 million. The egg producers point out that the shortage of animal feed as well as the decrease in the annual imports of chicken as a cause of this situation. Although 80,000 such breeding animals are imported each year, the amount has decreased to 40,000 in the last year. The Ministry of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaravira, has instructed the Livestock Division of the Ministry of Agriculture to take steps to import 200,000 incubated chicken eggs as an alternative, as the production of eggs may be delayed by 11 months if breeding animals are imported. He said that the National Livestock Development Board and the private sector have been permitted to import incubated chicken eggs.
Now in other news, the senior superintendent of police for Monaragala was arrested this morning for the possession of a large number of cannabis plants, as he was arrested by the police special task force. Now, the police spokesperson, one SSP Nihal Talduwa, told Newsfirst that the SSP was in possession of 350 cannabis plants. Now, detectives from the CID will be conducting an inquiry, said the police spokesperson. Now in news overseas, Sri Lanka Navy had fired shots into the air to control a dispute that broke out between two factions at the Sri Lanka Coast Guard station in Hambantota.
Sri Lanka police said that an argument had broken out between the Sri Lanka Coast Guard officers and local fishermen over an incident where two boats met with an accident in the seas of Hambantota. The argument had escalated into an ugly brawl, and in order to control the situation, the Sri Lanka Navy had fired shots into the air.
Now in news overseas, Taiwan condemned China on Monday for holding its second military combat drills around the island in less than a month, with the Defense Ministry saying it had detected 57 Chinese aircraft.
China views democratically governed Taiwan as its own territory and has been ramping up military, political and economic pressure to assert those claims. The Eastern Theatre Command of the People's Liberation Army said its forces held joint combat readiness patrols and actual combat drills in the sea and air space around Taiwan, focused on land strikes and sea assaults. In a brief statement, it added, the aim was to test joint combat capabilities and resolutely counter the provocative actions of external forces and Taiwan independent separatist forces. Taiwan's presidential office said China was making groundless accusations and strongly condemned the drills, saying the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait and the region were the common responsibility of both Taiwan and China. The office said in a statement, Taiwan's position is very clear in that it will neither escalate conflicts nor provoke disputes, but will firmly defend its sovereignty and security.
Supporters of Brazilian far-right former President Jair Bolsonaro, who refused to accept his electoral defeat, have stormed the presidential palace, Congress and the Supreme Court in the capital, Brasilia.
Videos on social media showed Bolsonaro supporters smashing windows and furniture in the National Congress and Supreme Court buildings on Sunday. They climbed onto the roof of the Congress building where Brazil's Senate and Chamber of Deputies conduct their legislative business, unfurling a banner that read intervention and an apparent appeal to Brazil's military. Images on a local TV channel also showed protesters roaming the presidential palace, many of them wearing green and yellow, the colors of the Brazilian flag, which have also come to symbolize the Bolsonaro government. One social media video showed a crowd outside pulling a policeman from his horse and beating him to the ground. Security forces used tear gas in an effort to push back the demonstrators, with local media estimating about 3,000 people were involved in the incident. The siege, which lasted a little over 3 hours, comes just a week after the inauguration of Bolsonaro's leftist rival, President Lula da Silva. Responding to the invasion, Lula declared a federal security intervention in Brasilia that will remain in place until the end of the month.
California yesterday braced for more severe weather after a week of torrential downpours and damaging winds killed at least 12 people in the past 10 days and knocked out power for hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses.
Forecasters with the National Weather Service warned that northern and central California was still in the path of a relentless parade of cyclones, promising little relief for the region until the middle of the week. Two overlapping phenomena, an immense airborne stream of dense moisture from the ocean called an atmospheric river, and a sprawling hurricane-force low-pressure system known as a bomb cyclone, have caused devastating flood and record snowfall over the past week. California Natural Resources Secretary said these storms are supercharged by climate change.
I want to some other news here at home. Now, the NPP Balamandala for Matugama took place yesterday.
We need to replace the government we don't like and the ruler we don't like. The opportunity for that comes via an election. We have received that opportunity today. It is the local government election. They are trying to postpone this election. However, all those efforts failed and he is unaware that the dates for calling the election has passed. If Ranil Wickremesinghe tries to lay a hand on the people's vote, we will fight to win that right and chase away Ranil Wickremesinghe and his administration.
The NPP Balamandala meeting for Matugama took place yesterday. Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa commented on the economic crisis.
On the 9th of September 2022, Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed 39 state ministers. The circular came out on the 9th of September. It did not mention their funds, tasks or anything. After the appointments, a circular was released with the necessary benefits. They each get 11 staff members. 5 of those staff members will land a phone, an office phone and a personal phone. The minister gets 4 phones, the minister gets 3 cars and the staff get 3 cars. One vehicle gets 500 litres of fuel. That is 1,500 litres for 3 vehicles. They are enjoying the benefits. Is the untainted government that the people wanted?
අපේ රටේ මේ නාස්තිය තියාගෙන මේ රට ගොඩ ගන්න කිසිදු ආර්ථික සලස්මක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බෑ.
සංවේදී ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී ශිෂ්ට මිනිසා කොහොමද
Our education system has faced a downfall which has made it impossible for us to conduct a discussion on how to produce a sensitive, democratic and disciplined citizen. The situation would have been much better if we could at least establish the equal rights to education in our country, but that too has not happened. We know that education costs almost as much as food. People have to spend a lot for health services. That means that in the country that has free education and free health services, the citizens now have to endure the burden of those expenses as well. Parents are in a situation where they have to pick which child they should send to school.
අද පවුල් තුල ඒ බර ඒ වියදමත් දරන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. අද දෙමව්පියන්ට තෝරගන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා මොන දරුවටද උගන්වන්නේ ඕනේ කියලා. බලන්න අපේ රට වැටිච්ච තැන, වට්ටපු තැන.
Now in sports news. The Sri Lanka Army emerged champions at the 59th National Judo Championship in Navalapitiya.
350 competitors representing 39 clubs competed at the 59th National Judo Championship at the Jayatilaka Stadium in Navalapitiya. The event was organized by the Judo Federation of Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka Army clinched the overall championship while Sri Lanka Air Force and Sri Lanka Navy came in second and third respectively. Chamaranuwan Dharmawardana from the Sri Lanka Air Force was named the most talented player in senior men's category, while Kalpani Jayavir also from the Sri Lanka Air Force won the awards in the senior women's category. Isuru Lakmal from Vikramabahu Sports Club won top honours in the junior division, and Sandadev Bandara from the same sports club won the award in the junior girls category. The award ceremony took place in the presence of Senior DIG for the Central Province Priyantha Veerasurya, Major General MEP Veerasinghe, Chairman of the Judo Federation of Sri Lanka, Manjula Veerasinghe, and its Secretary Pradeep Hapuarachi.
And that's it from the news team for now. Have yourself a great day and thank you for watching.